Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. We have an amazing guest with us. We have Scott Howard, who is a musician and also really a storyteller. And I'm excited to interview him and for you to hear his music and how he is lighting up the world and sending out a message that is changing lives. So stick around. This is going to be an awesome episode. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am your host, Melissa Oatman from melissaoatman.com. Well, I want to welcome you, Scott. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me again.
We were having some technical difficulties when we tried to record this previously because of Mercury in retrograde, but that's okay. We
Absolutely.
are here now.
We got double barrels, but now it's working. Everything is
Right.
fine. So I thank you so much for having me back.
I-
I'm actually a repeat guest without never being on the show once, so that's good.
Exactly. But this is going to be a real treat because you're actually going to get to perform for us live today, and I'm excited about that. But before we get to your music, why
Mhm.
don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you start recording this music? Because you have a very interesting story. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I think it was around 2000. Well, it started in obviously when I was like 11. And as I got older, I was in a band, and I think I was 11. I was in my first band, and I performed at a handicapped children's place, and it was called My Mombity's in New York. And my father was our manager, and there was like five of us. We were called the Gemini Five, and that gives you a little idea of the time, the year it was. But anyway, so we performed there, and we were just terrible. We were horrible, but the kids loved us, and it just showed that music, the frequency, whatever it was, resonated with the children. The I don't say they're not handicapped, but they see things differently. They perceive frequency differently than we do. And so it got the bug. And then my family is, I guess, musically somewhat inclined. My mother was an opera singer, and she started Long Island Lyric Opera years ago. And I was, of course, a stagehand. I had no choice. And so, I had to learn that part of my life. So I learned the backside and the front side. And, I learned guitar. But in 2017, to shoot ahead, I went through an awakening, and I didn't expect it. It was, it, shot me for, I didn't, it just, threw me for a loop. And Source decided to remove the blinders from my eyes. And I think it started when I bought a camera. I bought a Nikon P900 camera. And if you go on YouTube, anytime you see someone talking about a paranormal situation, for some reason, they all have a P900 camera. I don't know what it means or why, but they do. And so I purchased this camera, and I started taking pictures of everything because it had like a 2400 zoom lens. So obviously I could take pictures of, Mars and Jupiter, get the rings of Saturn and things I didn't expect to get. And all of a sudden I started noticing that what I was photographing with the camera was not matching my eye lens. So I would look at something and I'd put the camera on it and it would match. And I realized something was happening. So the lens, obviously, of the camera was much more precise, and it was picking up frequency that I was not picking up in my eyes. And all of a sudden, the world opened up, and I was seeing things that I did not expect to see. Everything from beings standing up in the sun to angels and crazy things. And but I stuck with it because I had no choice. It's my brain, it's my eyes, so I had to see this. And so turned out a year after I had gone through this awakening, my son passed, and I was placed on a path of bringing a new genre of music to the world to help raise the vibration of the human race, if you will. And everything is done in 432. The band is tuned to 432. That frequency, little history, during World War II, the Germans realized that everything was frequency, and they took it to the nth degree. And they knew if you change the frequency, it would be very easy for mind control and for a lot of, unfortunate things that they did to prisoners. And 432 is the frequency that raises our vibration. And everything we have today, whether it's broadcasting, instruments, is tuned to 440, which actually lowers our vibration. So you don't want to listen to anything at 440 if you can. You don't want to play an instrument unless it's tuned to 432, because that raises your vibration. Bach, Beethoven, all the the masters, they performed at 432 because they wanted to, I guess, gain an emotion from their listener, from their audience, and which is obviously what I want to do. And hopefully that is, it's resonated with the world. I think I've got about 13, 14 million views on, all social media. And the lyrics are obviously the key here, besides the frequency, because I write prophetically. So for whatever reason, I will write a song that the lyrics may not apply for a year, or in some cases 10 years, 15 years. So, which I did. I wrote some songs that, way back when, that are actually happening now. A song called Harvest Blessings, I wrote for my last album, The Language of Clouds. And that will probably become more understandable, I guess is the word, is a poor word, but yes, it's more understandable, the lyrics, I'd say by August, when things begin to change. And so in any case, if you listen to my music, they're meant to awaken you. They're meant to, I guess, give you an idea of what's going on maybe behind the scenes in our world, and to awaken, the human race. And the frequencies meant to obviously help, the same. And I just finished a movie called the World Ascension Tour, which is the very first concert film ever broadcasted and recorded in 432. And it's meant for, the family to sit down, hopefully, and watch, a concert film. And it's not just music being played. It's it's a lot of 5D effects and mind thought in 5D. So, and the soundtrack is in vinyl. I did it in a record album, because that's something I love. That's actually the record right there. And the front is in black and white, and the back is in color. But I also in the front, if you look at it, that's one thing that stuck with me growing up. The album cover was important. And you'll see the blue Kachina is on the top of the album. When I was performing or recording the film, I rented an RV and drove from LA to Chicago. And one night I got up about 11:30 at night, and I had a feeling I had to go outside. And I looked up in the sky, and at 10 o'clock from the moon was this blue, sapphire blue planet. I didn't know what it was. It shouldn't have been there. And I grabbed my camera and I photographed it. And it's in the film itself, and it's obviously on the front cover of the album on the top left, as well as Mars in the bottom. I'd say about 7 o'clock of the moon. So I always take into consideration the album cover artwork. There are things hidden in the album cover, kind of like the Beatles used to do, because it helps, obviously, part of the awakening as well.
Well, I think that's really that's such an interesting story, and records are definitely coming back. My daughter personally, she had me buy her a record player. I was like, really? You want a record player?
Oh, great.
Went through all of, my old records, and we have a record store in town, and it's a big deal to go and to look through the records. So I love that you did.
Well, I will have to send you a record then. Now I know you have one. Sure. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
that is important too. I think that it does. You remember that. It stays with you, the visual that you get.
Oh, absolutely.
But so talk about your inspiration for some of the songs, because I listened to a handful of them, and definitely you can tell that a lot of thought went into the lyrics, and there's a lot of meaning there. So maybe pick one of your favorite songs and talk about.
Well, it's hard to pick one, because believe it or not, I love all this. I love the music because sometimes I don't even realize that I wrote it. Again, so I write prophetically. A lot of people that channel, different beings don't even realize what they did until afterwards. It's the same thing with the music here. It's weird. But if you go to my first album, which was Ascended Man, uh, that's on, I think it's on iTunes and all the other places you can get it. But it's kind of like the first song brings you into the second song, and the second song brings you into the third. So it's kind of like a story. It's kind of like my tea for the Tillman. If anyone knows Cat Stevens, which was a person that I really enjoyed listening to, I liked his storytelling capabilities. The Ascended Man album invites you to come with me, which is the first song. And then it goes into the second song, and again, it's like a story. There's about 10 songs on the album, and I recommend anyone that wants to go and listen to it. You can go on to I think Spotify. I've got a channel there, and so again, it goes 10 songs, literally go one to the other. So it's a true story. Chapter 1 is Come With Me. Chapter 2. So I think it's a great way to tell a story, and it's a great way to introduce a mind thought, because most people don't listen to music that way anymore. They don't listen to the lyrics; they listen to the sound. And a lot of times the sound is not that good, and a lot of obviously the lyrics are just terrible. So hopefully this old way or new way of introducing a journey, which is what I want to take the audience on, to awaken to what's going on with our planet, because Mother Earth is raising her frequency. So we have to raise ours. If we don't raise ours, we'll be, shaken off like a dog with fleas. And obviously we're not the dog. We are the fleas. So I would say that we have to wake up now, and hopefully that is what my job, my soul path, if you will, is, to take people on a journey to make sure they understand that things are not what they seem, and they have got to start waking up. It's, I'd say it used to be where everyone thought, 95% of life was physical and 5% was spiritual. Well, it's not. It's 95% of life is spiritual and 5% is physical. So there's so many things you're not seeing. I mean, it's amazing what's going on in my home, in my life. The things that I'm seeing now. It's insane. There's beings in everyone's house, and unfortunately, you're never alone. Let's put it that way. And sometimes I think you want to be alone. Like, please, can you leave? I have to go to the bathroom. Can you please leave? It's just that kind of world here, where they're literally. I think when I woke up, the Truman Story is that movie, The Truman Story with Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
So true. I mean, that's the scary part is I saw people literally watching me through my windows. I mean, strange, three beings. One was a gray and two were other type beings, and they're literally watching me. Whatever I'm doing, I don't know. And I saw, then I had my camera out, and I saw three beings stand up in the sun. And I said, "Oh, great!" I says, "If I call anybody in to see this, you're going to sit down and you're going to make me look like I'm crazy." So thank God I had it on, camera. I had it on video, and I wrote a book called "The Language of Class." I'm sorry, that's the subtitle. It's called "A Lightworker's Journey," and that's coming out in July. And it literally goes through my awakening in 2017 till now. And I have, thousands of photographs that back up everything my story is telling. Thank God, otherwise people would lock me up. But some amazing photos of what the clouds are and what they're not. And I think people will never look at the sky again.
Do you have those photos somewhere now, or did you just save them for your book?
I have them. If you want me to put a couple up now, I can. But I didn't know I was taking the photos for a book when I took the photos. I had a camera, and then all of a sudden I go, hey, maybe I'm telling everyone these stories and everyone thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I should write a book and then, put the photos in there. And it's amazing what you see when you start playing with the filters. And it's not like you can make things come, of what you want. You can't. Either it's in the photograph or it's not. And I've got photographs of whatever, for whatever reason, whenever I touch a camera or some uh, technology, things go crazy. And I took a photograph of my PR person, and there were 4 people in the photograph. And when I was done, there had to be 12 in the photograph because it was
Wow.
taking photographs of parallel realities. So I had a photograph of the my PR person. She was uh, young in the photograph. She was middle aged in the photograph, and she was old in the photograph. And she was tall, small. It's crazy.
Wow.
So literally going on at the same time, I guess, in another reality, that same person was standing there taking a photograph, but she was younger. So if you look at her face, it's got more of, more chubby in that she's more, younger. When we're young, we have more fat in our
Right.
face. So you can see that she looks younger in the photo than the actual photo. And then you can see she's wearing a little different change of clothing, and it's wild, the photographs. But
Yeah,
that's all
I
in the
just
book.
wondered because that's definitely interesting. I would be fascinated in seeing the photographs that you have. I just didn't know if you had them posted somewhere or if they were only in your book.
I think if you go to my website, you go to scotthowardmusic.com, SCOTT Howard, HOWARD music.com. There are some photographs, in sections there, and it's crazy what I've
That
taken
is
photographs
fascinating.
of.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
brand was the camera again? I know you said Nikon, but what
it's a Nikon P900, but it's about $600. It's not that expensive for a camera, but for whatever reason, it's all automatic, and it goes up to 2,400 times magnification. And so you're taking photographs of way far away, things. And for whatever reason, for me and other people, if you go on YouTube and they're explaining that they had some paranormal thing happen, most people are using a P900. And there are newer cameras as well, but this camera's fine. I never had a camera that was that good. And I'm not even saying this is a good camera. It was a good camera. And for me, it's okay, let me take photographs. And
yeah, I think
I
that's
haven't stopped.
fascinating. I'm very, very much interested in people who photograph, paranormal things and they're able to capture that. I just think that's really cool.
Every photograph I take has got something weird in it. I don't know what it is. It's just like I seem to know, or they know that I know that I know that they know, and they just literally come. And I live here in Florida, and I live on the water. And when I go outside, literally the clouds start coming around. They'll be out in the ocean, and then all of a sudden they'll come around like this, and they'll come in front of me, and then another one comes in front of me. It's like they're ships, they're cloaked ships, and they literally start coming around one after another, one after another. And I've had situations where they've come like this, and all of a sudden, like let's say they're this big, and they'll like a ocean liner. Now the wind's going this way, north, about 30 miles an hour. It was like really, and all of a sudden it went like this, and it made a left turn, and it started going this way. It's like, you must be kidding me. And I had it on camera, and I obviously a woman comes outside, and I try to explain to her what I'm seeing, and she thinks this guy's crazy. And how do I get away from him? And
Yeah.
all of a sudden she's looking up like this, and she starts noticing that what I'm seeing is actually happening, but she doesn't want, in her mind, she doesn't want to accept the reality of maybe things are not what we think they are. And that's really what's happening with people right now, is that they they don't want to accept that the world, we're not in Kansas anymore. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, you said something earlier that I'd like to circle back to because I think it was really interesting. You said that when you wrote your songs, it was like you were channeling someone else giving you the lyrics. And I know what you're talking about because I had the same thing happen when I wrote my book. It was like it just came pouring out. And I feel like if it was just me writing it, it would have taken me like years to write the book, but because I was being helped and channeling the words, it only took me about a month or so to write the book.
Ah,
So you had a similar experience in writing the lyrics to your music.
yeah, I was actually went to a psychic. Her name was Rebecca Fearing. I was living in LA at the time, and uh, she started doing a reading with me. And she said, "You have two people that are helping you." I said, "Oh, okay, okay. Who's helping me?" She said, "John Lennon and Nikola Tesla." Now
Really?
she didn't know who I was. She had
Yeah.
no idea. With frequency, Tesla is big time frequency. So that was very interesting. That kind of like verified that she was real because Tesla is he's one of the few people I would believe would be helping me in some way because of the frequency and stuff. Um, I had an interesting story with John, not John Lennon, but George Harrison. He was uh, he was he had passed, and a person said that uh, someone was channeling him or something, and he asked George Harrison, where you are, do you still write your music? And what he said was, "Where I am music." And I thought that was a very cool,
Yeah.
So I wrote a song called "I Am Music." So I mean, every little thing, can will tweak a thought for a song. Most of my songs are written out of pain. I think anything that brings on change or brings on something that you can't get around, if you will, most of the time it's pain. And that's kind of what makes me write my music. Well, love does too, but pain definitely does. When my son passed, I spent months upon months, in my studio, writing music. And when I hear certain things that bring on a thought that I can help others with. I know that people are dealing right now with loss of family, uh, with the child trafficking. Right now, big time with what's going on in the world. We're realizing that our government may have a lot to do with, well, our past government anyway, may have had a lot to do with trafficking. And so there's going to be a lot of awakening and healing that's going to be required from what's happening and what's about to come out with regard to you know our world, and that's where the song "Harvest Blessing" came from. So
Yeah. Well, I am really sorry about your son, and I know that that is a tremendous loss. But I love that you have chosen to take something that caused you such pain
mm,
and turn it into something beautiful that helps others. I think that's an amazing thing when people can do that. And it takes a very strong, I think, person to be able to do that because there are, a lot of people want to sink down into victimhood
oh
and
yeah,
do the why me. And I totally get it. I understand. I've had a lot of tragedy in my life as well. But it's always encouraging to me when I see people who instead choose to use that to fuel their growth and to help others along their journey. So I just want to thank you and say I think that that's amazing that you're doing that.
yeah. Well, it was very interesting when he passed. 2 days after he passed, um, I was told to go outside in the morning and take photographs. So let's see, where are you? 1 second, I'm sorry. I think it's been somewhere. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Okay, right here. This that is my the language of clouds, and this is actually a photograph of my son going to heaven.
Oh, wow.
So it's an actual photograph that I took about maybe 5:45 in the morning, and this you can see all the clouds are looking up.
Hmm.
Right, they're all looking up right there. They're right there. They're all like there. I guess I'm not pointing right, but anyway, they're there. They're all around looking up, and there's angels around. But if you look up here, I'm not good at pointing for whatever reason. Down there, right there, he's right there. He's on a skateboard. That's what he's on a skateboard, and behind him is a little girl's face. A little girl's
Wow,
face.
that's
You can see it.
incredible.
Well, if you go to actually, it's right. Her face is right. It's right there. It's a little girl's face right there.
And so if our audience members go to the language of clouds, they'll see this photo.
Yeah, if you go to scotthowardmusic.com
Okay.
and you'll go to the store, you'll see the album cover, and on the other side is actually a space is a what you call a flying saucer. Let me see if I can see if it's still there.
Yeah, so you guys can go and go to his website to go and look up this photo, because I know we're just audio here, so you're not seeing the photo as he's pointing it out to me, but
Okay, I didn't know that. Yes, but yes. So the language of clouds. It's an EP. Again, it's in 432, and the newest one is a live soundtrack off of the concert film. You can get the concert film either on Amazon Prime or Tubi, Tubi,
yeah. Mhm.
to be and not to be, and then or my website right now. If you go to scotthowardmusic.com and you leave your you fill out the form, just put your email address and we'll email you a discount code, and you get like 55% off of the the ticket price, if you will. It's like $2 and something cents. It's very inexpensive, but I wanted to have families to get together. Where can you go for $2 and I think it's 37 cents and watch a concert film and with your family, and again it's 432, so it raises the vibration of the whole family at the same time. So that was the whole idea.
That's awesome.
Mm.
So we're gonna have a real treat today because you are gonna perform one of your songs for us today. Is that right?
Okay. Sure.
Let's hear it.
Absolutely. You have an MP3 of the band, if you right, which is written in the clouds, and you may want to play that later. I'll give me 1 second here, and I can.
Okay.
I don't want to. You want to put it on
So
hold?
while you're setting up and you let me know when you're ready, I will just mention a few things to my audience members. Remember that if you want to follow me on social media, I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading. And if you show up for the live, I'll pull a card especially for you. Also, if you want to work with me, you can work with me. You can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. And I am offering right now Reiki coaching sessions and readings, and you can purchase them directly from my website. And if you want to book, you just contact me. I am doing my own personal scheduling right now because that way you can get the time that works best for you. And I don't know, those calendar programs to me can be a pain sometimes. So I'm scheduling them myself if you want to go there. Also, you can still purchase my book, Beautifully Broken. I'm really excited because I'm going to be having a book signing in my hometown in August, but I'm going to try to do something so maybe there's a live stream there too. So there will be more details about that coming up a little bit later on. And don't forget, if you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. You can leave some stars on iTunes. That would be amazing. And it looks like that Scott's just about ready. So I will turn it back over to Scott.
All righty, let's see here.
Language do you speak when you say hello to a cloud out loud? Can you read the rain on my face in a world of lies that blind As above, so far below, been written 1,000 years ago in a black book by my bed. My Wi-Fi's dead. A God wrote this, they say, didn't hear it on CNN today. Is God such a jealous man that he keeps you from his divine plan? Is it written in the clouds, they say, just a lullaby to keep us from our way? Thunder and lightning, the alarm to say, wake up and find your way. If we are one, do we all feel the same without getting past this illusion? How long has it been since we tried to begin to break through these chains of delusion? As above, so far below, but written 1,000 years ago, just players in a play. Who can say? As the Vatican's passed by another, clouds collide and fight each other. Everyone's living in their own drama, dancing the dance of a twisted karma. Is it written in the clouds, they say, just a lullaby to keep us from our way? Thunder and lightning, the alarm to say, wake up and find your way. Is it written in the clouds, they say, is this a lullaby to keep us from our way? Thunder and lightning, the alarm to say, wake up and find your way today. Above these shapes that don't make sense to us. What do you say when you say hello to a cloud out loud? In a world born alone, oh, oh, love, it must bring love back. Oh, oh, love. The only answer I know, love, is love.
Now, I always like to ask our guests to leave our listeners with a little nugget of wisdom before they go. So, if there's any piece of advice for our listeners today, what would you tell them?
I would tell your listeners to start looking up. Most people have stopped looking up. They look straight ahead, they look down, but no one looks up anymore. And I think the world has got a lot of miracles that are coming our way. And if you don't look up, you're going to miss them. And you must raise your vibration. That includes detoxing with heavy metals. I detox constantly. I got one of those foot things with the water and the magnet in the middle, and you do the foot pads. But obviously, listen in 432. Don't eat any meat if you can. Anything that had a heart or a face, believe it or not, you should not be eating. And when you go to sleep, make sure you go to sleep with a positive mind frame, because the negative beings, they'll come after you real quick. This is a war. This is a battle. I remember when I had my awakening, I saw angels on horseback in war in the sky. So that's actually one of the lines, the angel numbers. When the Archangel Michael came down, he flew down and stood in front of me. I was angry for some reason, I don't know why. And an angel flew down from above and stood in front of me, a world of questions awakened in me, but all I said, come back when I'm free. I actually told the angel to come back. I was busy. and so, and he flew away, and he had a look in his face like, okay, what's, just wait till you see what's coming. And he's right. There's a lot of amazing things that's going to put us on our toes, and, just be light.
All right. Well, you heard it here, guys, and you heard it from Scott. So I always think it's important to clear your energy, ground yourself, keep positive thoughts, and, positive meditations before you're going to bed is always a good thing. Well, thank you so much for taking time out and for being here with us today, Scott.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for being here with us today as well. As always, I am sending you so much love and light. I hope you have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.